Welcome to the Grappling Grappling Rewind Podcast.
Welcome to this week on the Grappling Rewind Podcast. On this week's show, we are going to recap the 2026 IBJJF Pans. We are also going to preview Who's Number 132. We are also going to talk a little about CFFC BJJ 17. As always on the show, I'm your host, Maine, and the co-host,
Miranda.
How you doing, Miranda?
Pretty good. How are you?
Doing pretty good. Pans happened. So weirdly enough, I'm going to mention it now. We are going to preview, or we're going to talk a little about the Who's Number 132 card. We're not going to talk about it in huge detail because it happens on Tuesday. We record this show on Monday night. Usually we would preview this the week prior, but cards don't usually run on Tuesday, and we had a big show of South American Trials, and so we're going to talk about it, but by the time this show comes out, unless you listen to it Tuesday morning, which a lot of folks do, you're going to just have a chance to watch the card the following day. So by the time the show releases on YouTube, the card will have already happened. So if you missed it, Who's Number 132, if you're listening to this on YouTube, has happened. You can go watch it now. As a result, we're going to recap it next week.
Unless
we're not going to preview
unless you
it.
watch it, or unless you listen to us like first thing on Tuesday.
Yeah, if you listen to first thing on Tuesday, then we'll talk a little bit. But again, we're not going to eat a ton of time for that preview just because of like the timing of it for when the show releases. It's going to be like, it is going to be old news by the time that you get to it. Our preview is going to be pretty short. Normally that's not the case, but the recap will probably be the full show. So next week's show will be entirely Who's Number 132. And shout out to the guy on YouTube that let me know like a year and a half ago when I labeled the Who's Number 123 card as 32 in the title. I had to go back and change that. So,
nice.
Like 6 weeks ago, a guy like texted me. He's like, "Hey, their title is wrong here by 2 numbers." So let's move on to the recap of the 2026 IBJJF Pans. Again, with every major preview, there's a lot of matches. We hopefully will get everything mostly correct. We have some pretty decent notes this year for that. If we get something pieces here and there wrong, there's a lot of matches to run through. We are going to only run through the adult men's black belt divisions and the women's black belt divisions and the open class finals. We're really not going to talk about essentially any other matches that happened over the weekend. There were some phenomenal matches, some phenomenal runs. We just don't have time to run through it. We're going to run through just the finals matches because honestly, we just spent about an hour and a half watching through a bunch of the matches again.
Yeah.
It was a pretty decent Pans,
It was
actually.
it was a pretty active Pans.
Yeah, it wasn't a lot of the ones where you're just like, come on. Like, we complain a lot about a 10-minute match because generally speaking, a lot of times, even at the highest levels, you're playing for small margins. 2 minutes of that match are feeling out. And then 2 minutes in the match somewhere are stalling, and you get these really 2 different bursts of energy that are about 6 minutes in the match in total, and 4 minutes are stalling. Yeah. That was not the case in nearly as many of these matches. I think
no, there was one, but it was kind of hilarious. Yeah. At the same time, we enjoyed it, but
so let's run through. Let's start with the men.
Okay.
Because I think that some of the stories with the women are a little more interesting, and so we'll get into those in the second half.
Okay.
Let's start with that. You want to start with big men or little men?
We'll start with little men.
Let's start with the men's adult black belt division. We had Marcos Gomes submitting Bebeto Oliveira with what looked like a pretty nasty footlock.
Yeah, and it was a belly down footlock, and it was quick.
Yeah, the video we have again.
Didn't Bebeto get hit with a footlock at UFC BJJ like a couple weeks ago?
Yeah, he did, didn't he? I forgot about that. This is crazy. This is a really nifty. I don't have much more in this match. We're gonna cover the highlights and the subs.
The other thing is to know is that Marcos Gomes is normally like a light feather or a featherweight, and he actually cut all the way down to rooster.
Light feather is 1 weight class. Featherweight is 2 weight classes. Yeah, Mikey's done it, but man, it is.
And it was a stacked. Cut. Yeah, and it was a stacked 127. Like it had what's the guy's name? It's French.
Fonacier?
Jalen
Fonacier.
Yeah, he was in the division, and a few other gentlemen that are very, very good.
French is a pull. You looked at me and he's French.
Well, it was a French, and what was coming out of my mouth was not the French that
He's Portuguese, right? But the name is French.
Yeah.
Okay.
I believe so.
It was a good division. It was awesome to see Bebeto in the finals again. But man, Marcos Gomes, this footlock is really interesting because the angle that we have for the final is essentially just like Gomez on the other side, just yanking, and Bebeto like bolt upright in the like boot, trying to get out, and like you're away, you have no way to get out of this, and it's a belly down, and so it's basically like a scream tap.
Yeah.
And Bebeto looks unhappy about it, but again, I love to see finals submissions, and Marcos Gomes, really interesting sequence to get there as well, to get the footlock in the finals. Anything else?
Nope.
Let's move on to Pato, Diego Pato Oliveira versus Shoya Ishiguro. This was a good match. It's 8-2. And 8-2 in a Pato match is good. Again, Pato doesn't submit everyone that he goes against, but he puts a lot of guys in danger. This was a very fun match. I have not watched a lot of Shoya Ishiguro before. You mentioned that we see him in the finals occasionally. We apparently have talked about him.
He's been in the finals, or he's around the division very often. He was also in 1FC. I think
he's had a couple matches in 1FC that you pulled up.
I think he's still in 1FC at this point.
Some good footlocks in 1FC that we watched. He was not a guy that was hugely, at least immediately in my radar that I remembered. I was really impressed with the 8-2 that he got with Pato. Essentially, it's a mirror sweep. First sweep initially, so they go 2-2. Pato starts from the bottom. Shoya ends up on the top, back and forth. And they go back. They go 2-2.
Yeah.
And then Pato like sort of kicks on the speed.
Yeah.
Has some crazy sequences. At one point, the sequence I want to talk about for this match in particular is Pato jumps the back on Shoya. And Shoya uses a really interesting grip with the backside of the collar of Pato to basically Pato is trying to score the 4 points for the back take.
Yeah.
And to do the 4 points on IBJJF, you need both hooks in at the legs, and you need a seatbelt grip or some sort of chest to back control. Usually it's seatbelt. It doesn't have to be seatbelt, but it's like shoulders to back.
You can do double under. You can do something like that.
You have control, essentially what they're looking for. And in order to do that, you have to be chest to back. Shoya basically takes his arm and reaches behind him and punches the lapel of like the collar of Pato away and down so that Pato can't get his shoulders and chest underneath of Shoya.
Yeah.
And then so Shoya can get his back flat to the mat and kind of escape this. Again, he loses on points, but I was just really impressed with just how prescient he was with that grip of like getting your shoulders back, pushing up. And it's a defense from the back take we don't see very often. A lot of times it'll leave your arm exposed to get armbarred, but because Pato's leg is already underneath, Pato can't pull the leg out to go for it.
Yeah.
Pato in the dying seconds of the match, while up 8-2, does jump for a flying armbar over the guard, doesn't get it. But overall, it was just a very, very impressive match. Again, Pato on top, outscoring by 6 points.
Yeah.
But Shoya just consistently in the match and like really very, very good guard work versus Pato's passing. And
even when he's in trouble, he is trying to escape, and when he gets out, he gets his guard back.
And the thing with his guard, he's not playing a defensive guard. And the commentary picks up on this. They're like, you kind of expect a guy to play more defensively, but he's actively like threatening Pato and keeping Pato at a range where Pato can't really pass.
Which shows that, if Shoya played the defensive guard, he probably could. He probably could, but he could have also probably held off some of the points.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to give up the points in order to play that.
Yes. Like he has no shot of winning if he plays defensively versus Pato. So his best opportunity is like, hey man, I can get something going. I may give up some points here, but I'm going to play an open enough guard where there's going to be some action and some sequences here. Again, it was just a really impressive performance from Ishiguro from a guy that I'm just not super familiar with. We've seen him in 1FC. Yeah. Go and find his footlock at 1FC. That's really nice, just straight ankle down. I think he's still in. You said he's still in one.
Yeah, because
he's had a couple of grappling matches.
Yeah, he was going against Jack Shear.
Yeah,
Sear a while ago. Yeah, I mean, he's probably the weight and the size of. They have quite a few guys at 1FC, like
at 145. In that weight class.
Around that weight size.
Dude, Baby Shark's the champion.
Yeah.
I want to see this match of the champion, unless it's already happened and I missed it.
Yeah, I don't know.
But it was a very good match. Pato takes this one, takes another Pans championship on points 8-2. Yep. Anything else?
Nope.
Let's talk about Cole Abate versus Sam Nagai. This is fun. It was a lot more of the same from Cole really good guard work. They go back and forth, 1-1. There was one piece of this match that I'm blanking that I wanted to bring up as a point.
He did the sweep. He was in like a K guard, and he kind of like
at the end,
kind of like
tied.
he kind of like posted it on his chest almost, or like threw, and he just kind of like kicked him over and came up.
Yeah, Cole Abate's on the bottom there. It's what 4-4 with 30 seconds left, like late in the match, and this is where Abate does some really good work. And typically, again, at featherweight, this is when most guys do really good work. Even match. I think Nagai is up on advantages. I don't remember, but I think he was up by 1 advantage at this point. We don't have the result for that. And Nagai has Cole's legs kind of pinched together. Cole has like some hooks in, but they're kind of a half smashed half guard. And Abate just like rolls out, techs up, kicks out of this, and the guy goes, okay, you're giving me a knee bar here. Yeah. Goes down for the knee bar. And then like Nagai is a very good armbarist and knee bar guy. And is like gunning for the knee bar as Abate does almost a full split stand, like a split. Up, gets to his knees, blocks the knee bar enough, opens the topside leg, because that's the great defense for the knee bar. It's just like you just open their topside leg, because if you can't push your knees together, you can't get the knee bar. He gets up high enough to basically get as the top player, scores his 2 points in the dying like 15 seconds of the match, and then rides it out and settles his knees back down. But it was just another late in a match, Abate's losing, and he's like, well, I better win. It reminds me a lot of like what Buchecha used to do. Where it's like Buchecha was like losing a match, and he's like, oh, I better win this match, and then just turns it over. And and then last, like that is to me the mark of like those really, really dominant, long-standing champions, is when the chips are down, like I'm down, doesn't really matter. I will make this sequence happen, because I just, not that I want it. I hate the term I want it more, but it's like I can just take it there in a place that very few other people that have ever done the sport can do it. And it was well,
you
cool
also
to see Abate
you also have to like turn it on. Where in a spot in a match where someone else might be getting a little more tired or a little bit more hesitant to put points on the board because they're already winning.
You can turn it on and get and take the match there. Again, it was just another example of Cole being able to do that. And I was like, just again, wildly impressed with Cole again. He beat Sam Nagai on points, 6-4 in the dying seconds of the match. Next one, his brother, Jackson Nagai versus Will Wilson. We went over this. So it's an interesting match. I want to talk about really just one sequence in this match. We can talk about the second sequence too that finishes it up. Will Wilson is a half guard monster, specifically a deep half guy. And I love this because my coach Greg, we played deep half. He played deep half against me for years and years and years. And I've been in Jackson Nagai's spot. And I get it. I played against this guard for years and years. So it's always I appreciate when you have a really like a world level guy that plays against like, it's a guard that I understand defending more than most guards. Jackson Nagai does an amazing job versus Will Wilson, not letting Wilson get to what's called like the safety grip, which is the underhook grip under the leg that basically if you get to it as a guy playing deep half, they're not going to pass, they can't get out. And eventually you can turn your hips, put them to their back or butt or sweep them. You're going to get it done. Jackson Nagai sits in this like deep half position, or not half, deep half position for minutes of this match. And Will Wilson has some of the best quarter guard retention that I've seen in years. Just Jackson Nagai can't get. At one point, like 2 minutes left in the match, Jackson Nagai looks at the ref and basically like kind of goes like, "What are we doing here?" Because like he just can't get his foot out. But Will Wilson has been actively working to improve his grips. Jackson Nagai has stayed diligent with his top position. He's also stayed really, really diligent with the free arm, like the arm that is not behind Jackson Nagai's back with Will Wilson, the arm that is in the front that he's going to start doing the work to pass with. Jackson Nagai has had a cat's paw grip on it and has death gripped it down. And at one point in the match, he starts like actively wrist locking him and like folding his hand in half and not getting it.
And he's like using Will Wilson's body to do it. Like anything he
or
can,
the mat.
Anything that he can kind of like put in the way of his elbow, he's just putting it there and like wrist locking. And we're not talking like just like pushing on the wrist. We're talking we're talking like both of his hands like shoving it. Like he's trying to
he presses it really aggressively. And the funny thing is, we were like, should he get an advantage for that? And commentary chimes in, which again, Kendall and I'm blanking on the guy's name, really great commentary. Like we had a commentary that I did not mute. And that is not common for a lot of jiu-jitsu events. Like Kendall and I wish I had the other guy's name. Really great commentary team for this. They were talking about like why he's not getting the advantage for it. It's like, well, because Will Wilson's not doing anything to defend it.
Yeah.
Like Will Wilson's just eating the wrist
Well,
lock.
and if you look at Will Wilson, he's also every single joint on his body looks like it has a roll of tape on it.
Oh yeah, both feet have a full roll, and the hand is all taped up, and like, but he's just not addressing it. And it's like for me, it's the fight to win criteria.
Yeah.
It was like submissions that they don't have to defend, they don't count for anything.
Yeah.
And IBJJF kind of has the same rule where it's like you're not going to get a sub if he doesn't have to. If he's not actively doing anything different to defend it, we're not giving you the advantage. And Jackson, the guy, is just gunning for this wrist lock. At one point, there was a sequence that I liked that I showed to you again.
Yeah.
Because I thought of you immediately.
Yeah, because I have a submission that I like that everybody else thinks is stupid.
Jackson, the guy, is in deep half. Will Wilson is going for the deep half. And Jackson, the guy, like, he realizes that he's trying to baby arm. He's trying to trap his arm in. He realizes that Will Wilson has like flared his arm a little bit in a way that he maybe shouldn't. And Jackson, the guy, yanks an Americana from the half guard position that makes Will Wilson go, nope, and like almost stand all the way up to get out of the Kimura. Still retains the guard, by the way. To his credit, like he steps out of this Kimura and then still keeps Jackson, the guy's legs so he can't get out. And then we've had all this fun up to this match. I'm like, okay, normally this is a match that we kind of like complain not that much. This was a very, very interesting match.
But I think it's facial expression. You can watch them working.
You can watch them actively doing stuff.
And if you've done jiu-jitsu long enough, you've been stuck in a position like that with someone. And it's almost like...
You feel Jackson, the guy's frustration.
Yeah.
And that's like, hey, man, I've been there too, baby.
And it's almost like it's slightly playful, though it's not playful. Yeah. But it comes off as playful. I don't know why. For me, it did at least. Maybe it's just because all my coaches tried to wrist lock me. But
you had Wilson actively looking for the guard, like playing it so well and not getting that leg free. And then the guy actively on top, like looking to keep grips, looking to press out, looking to like both guys were doing what you'd want. We got stuck in the deep half the entire match, almost, until this next sequence. But they were both actively looking to progress the game. So Will starts a stand-up sweep.
Yeah.
Because he's basically stood up half. And Jackson, the guy, they start this sweep, by the way, in the yellow area, in the border.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, this is whatever.
Warning zone.
The warning zone. And then Jackson, the guy, defends the single leg. He turns out. Will Wilson goes to the other leg. Jackson, the guy, turns out, faces the direction you have to, like away from your opponent to push out and pull this. And they go out of bounds. And I went, okay, like, that's an annoying out of bounds because it started in the warning zone. Really, they should have pulled him back earlier, but whatever.
Yeah.
Like, it's a sequence. And then they give Will Wilson 2 points because they said Jackson, the guy, was fleeing.
Yeah.
And I watched it a bunch of times, and I went, I get it, but also like they start in the warning zone for this. Like he's
like,
not,
where's he supposed to go?
Yeah, that was my. That's my.
You can't really go into it.
I like that IBJJF is being more aggressive with fleeing. There's like one or two other finals that have this take place, but this is one of those where I went, when the sequence starts in the warning zone through really no fault of either guy. It's like they kind of just like the referees have let them play there. We've had plenty of times where you could have dragged them closer to the center, like that were totally fine to do that, and we've let them start the sequence in the end. I'm happy that it didn't decide the match, but it was one of those like, oh, now Will Wilson is up 2 points in a very even match that he was not winning.
Yeah.
Like Jackson, the guy, is the one active looking to pass. Will Wilson has not had grips that he needs to pass to get up. And then Jackson, the guy, with a minute left, they start him in the center of the mat with Will Wilson having a body lock, which is, again, the position that they had when they went out of bounds. Not a bad restart here. That's why I think if you give him the 2 for fleeing, restarting the position is like, I get why you do it. If it was actually fleeing, it's perfectly acceptable. It's just really weird to call this one fleeing.
Yeah.
He starts with the body lock grip, and then Jackson Nagai does what I want. Does what I'd like to see every guy do in this restart. He starts trying to peek out and sit out.
Yeah.
And Will Wilson's on him. He's on him. And then in a scramble, Jackson Nagai goes, he gets out, he turns, and then he jumps the back on Will Wilson.
Yeah.
And I went, dude, when the chips are down, we've watched it back-to-back matches.
Yeah.
We went from Abate doing it to you doing it, punching your hooks in, and then getting your score.
He didn't punch his hooks in.
He got the takedown here.
Yeah, he got the guy to go to his knees. And then once Will Wilson went to his knees, he got 2 for the takedown.
Yeah.
Making it 2-2. Jackson Nagai was already up advantages.
Yes.
And then he tries to take the back in the last few seconds.
Yeah. So he gets another advantage for the back take at the end, for the back take attempt at the end.
Yeah.
Again, so if you actually watch this last sequence with the takedown, it's really interesting because Jackson Nagai, he doesn't get the back points, he gets the takedown. He only gets 2 points, and we watched it over and over again to kind of figure out why he was getting those 2 points. It's because they are in neutral standing.
Yeah.
And then he is essentially able to counter it to get a knees down position where he has the hips covered, which is a takedown for IBJJF or for like wrestling.
He gets over the back,
Yes.
He gets over the back, hips, and to the knees.
Watch the match. It was genuinely really interesting, and it's just like a textbook of like as a top
and it's
player.
Kind of just funny.
Yeah. A top player, how to deal with deep half, and a bottom player, just like how to play deep half versus like what you need to be doing. It was a very, very good technical match.
I think the only thing that I would have done, which is probably illegal in IBJJF, is try to like punch choke him. That was the only other thing I could think of.
I thought about it.
Is like just like
with the forearm that you have,
like,
the other hands you have, to push
just
down.
Just for a reaction. But maybe there's a reason why he didn't do that.
Yeah,
IBJJF is weird with that kind of stuff.
With throat, put your hands on the throat. It was good. I really enjoyed this match, which is partially why I wanted to like talk through these first. Next, we have anything else on this one?
Nope.
Next one, Tynan Daupra versus Elijah Dorsey. This was fun, man. Elijah is one of the best counter guys in the sport when he gets going.
Yeah.
Unless it's a counter footlock. He has a tendency to get counter footlock, but like in gi sequences, and in like sequences where they're not you're on his legs, he's an incredible counter guy. There's 2 counters here I want to talk about. It's again, Tynan wins this 9-0.
Yeah.
Uncontested on points. The one sequence is a sequence from Tynan pulling guard.
Yeah.
And then Daupra like teching down, and then Tynan immediately doing essentially a scissor sweep, but it's like the judo version where you slide the outside foot, you push the foot at the knee on the side you're going to take them to, and then you do like the kazusha, the off balancing in the gi, while you lift them over, and then you drive your other hip over right into mount.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful 6-point move. It is what I'm going to be teaching tomorrow in my gi class.
Yeah.
I watched it and screen recorded it, and then immediately sent it to my club, and I was like, this is what we're doing tomorrow.
Yeah.
It is a very good sequence. Being able to score off of guard pulls is important, and will come up in a little bit here.
Yeah.
It was just a beautiful sequence. Immediately puts Daupra on top for 9 points. Go back and watch like this sequence from Tynan. You should watch most of Tynan's matches anyway because he's just an incredible technician.
Yeah.
Dorsey's still in it.
Yeah.
He's in mount. Does a great kipping escape, and I was like, that was just a very solid kipping escape out. He ends up in the guard, and then Tynan starts to pass.
Yeah.
But
Tynan also knows how to pull so that he doesn't get points put against him.
Yes.
He pulls as he does things so that he doesn't have to worry about the issue of
what will come up in later matches.
Yeah.
Daupra is one of the best guard passes in the game. Dorsey puts up a very impressive guard for a while, but eventually he lets Daupra get to his head.
Yeah.
And this is really where Daupra, with guys that are long and rangy, that actually play really good guards and have good retention, like Dorsey, when Daupra gets to your head and he starts to smash past you, this is when he does it. There is a camera shot here of Tynan Daupra passing Elijah Dorsey. I cannot imagine what Tynan Daupra's shoulder pressure feels like because Dorsey's head is turned 90 degrees on his body.
Yeah,
it is flat to the mat.
His crossface is severe.
Dude,
he has a very severe crossface.
All the way over before Tynan passes.
Yeah.
And then Tynan passes, he gets his points. And it's the only points of the match that are other than the first sequence. And then Dorsey's, again, still in it, but just unable to really get anything going with Daupra. He can never get a pass. He can never get a sweep going, and that really ends the match.
No, it doesn't, because Tynan tries to do to
at
Dorsey.
the end.
Yeah. So we've come to a conclusion that we think Tynan tries to hit things on people that people like to do.
So, because we saw this in Polaris.
Yeah.
When he hit Tarek Hopstock, known for the Tarico Plata of his namesake, and Daupra just was insistent on tapping him with that move.
Yeah.
Like, that is what he was that is what he was going to hit. He did over and over again, eventually gets it. And we're like, that was a weird, it was obviously you were trying to do it because it's his move.
Yeah.
Here, Tynan in the dying seconds of the match is up 9-0.
Yeah.
He should play this regular and just continue doing exactly what he's doing and win the match. And he jumps a triangle from the back from half guard on Dorsey, gets the leg out of the half guard, gets the triangle, and tries to do the power Kimura, the lightning lock. Oh, I forget what Dorsey calls it, like big breakfast or something like that. Like, I know it's a lightning lock. Yeah. Which is that Kimura Americana behind the head when you have a body triangle. You have a triangle from the back. Yeah. My wife hits me all the time. It's an amazing submission, but it is one of the things that Dorsey is known for. Yeah. And Daupra tries to do it with him, and you can see him hipping. Yeah, it's you have no need. You're up 9-0 in the finals.
The speed in which he hits that entire end sequence, you're like, holy shit.
Whoa.
He goes into serial killer mode, and you're like, oh.
And then he doesn't get it. Yeah. Because Dorsey, you see Dorsey just go down and prevent him from getting it. Because Dorsey is very hard to put away. And then Daupra takes that 9-0. But it was another interesting kind of fold to the story of Tynan Daupra of just in a Pan finals to be up 9-0 with 15 seconds left or something like that. Not very much time in the match. To still try to go for that was all right, man. We get it. It was a very interesting kind of character trait there. But, man, he's very, very good. So, moving on. Let's talk about Anderson Diaz versus Alec Muniz. This was one, I think this is the match that was won, basically. Anderson Diaz, after 3 guard pulls, decides to come up. And then gets the win. Essentially. Or there's one other sequence where they both get an advantage. But it's 3 pull. Yeah, so it's literally in the final. So IBJJF, if you pull guard and you double pull, so both opponents pull, both people pull, and they'll look at their watch. They immediately make this big gesture. They look at their hand, and there's a clock on their wrist that has a 20-second counter on it. Yeah. And after 20 seconds, if there is not a top player established, they restart. Both players are given a negative. Yeah. And then you do it again. If you get 1 negative, cool, it's fine. It's a penalty. If it's even on points and the one guy has 1 penalties, that's a winning criteria. Yeah. If it happens a second time, you get another penalty. That means 1 advantage goes to each opponent as a result. So, if I get 2 penalties, then Miranda would be given an advantage because I have 2 penalties. Yeah. Okay, and she gets 2 penalties, I get it. So, because it's a mirrored penalty, both people get a penalty, their second penalty for the second double guard pull didn't come up on, and both opponents get 1 advantage point. Yeah. If it happens a third time, then you get a penalty, and because you have 3 penalties, your opponent gets 2 points as a result.
So both people have 2 points.
So this match ends 2 points, 2 points, 3 negatives, and Anderson has 1 advantage because on the 4th double guard pull, he comes up to avoid the DQ and gets the advantage because the person that comes up in a double guard pull, because it's a weaker position, gets an advantage for doing that to incentivize people from not getting DQ'd. That is what determines the match. I will leave you to watch it if you wish.
This is also the division that Tommy Langaker was in. Alex Muniz is who beat Tommy Langaker. Yeah. So
Tommy Langaker hasn't been in the gi division in a couple of years.
In a couple of years. This is his.
And he looked good. Yeah. You go back and watch his highlights. It looked good. So that was the finals. Anderson Diaz takes it. The grip fight and the guard work wasn't bad, but it was that was the point. That was the scoring criteria in the match, and that's what mattered. Yep. So, any pieces on it you want to talk about?
Nope.
All right, let's move on to Filippo Assis versus Ryder Zucchi. This was another weird one on the. This is another flea in the mat one, or what was? There was another weirdness that came to this one.
This was a flea in the mat, but it wasn't a flea in the mat. It was like a weird flea in the mat. Because it was another one where I think he was really close to the edge and he like turns.
Yeah. This comes back to IBJJF, why we kind of stalled to remember exactly what happened in this match. This is like, I appreciate that IBJJF is being more aggressive with the edge play of the mat, because for years we had so many matches that were just out and out and out and like constantly. Like, the Pans finals were already 4.5 hours for just the black belt finals.
Yeah.
It's already an event that is too long to watch comfortably in one sitting for the level of pacing that it has. Yeah. It would even be even longer because we'd have so many guys go out of the mat and then restart, or belt ties and restart. Like, the pacing was suffering. These matches were becoming like 13, 14 minutes long because there were so many restarts and they were slow restarts. I appreciate now that they've cracked down on it to prevent guys from playing at those edge margins as much, because we just don't get so many restarts and push outs.
Yeah.
There's been a couple of times where we kind of go like, this might be a little too far. Yeah. But I kind of do think it is maybe what we need right now for the sport, as like, hey man, maybe you overplay a little bit to change that behavior, to actually have, hey man, these matches are being decided because you were playing too close to the edge. Yeah. And if you want to play with that margin, if you have to defend something in that direction and you were deciding to play that close to the edge, well, now you lose the 2 points for that, because you get 2 points awarded against you or to your opponent if you are in something, in some kind of sequence, and you defend it by going off the mat. Yeah. So, like, it brings essentially it's a push out with intention. Yeah. I don't hate it, but it is a little odd that
it's odd in certain situations when you're already close to the edge when shit starts.
Yeah, but it's also like, hey, you're playing with fire, and that's kind of what you get. So it's like, I do kind of go back and forth. I don't like seeing matches decided on like essentially a push out. Yeah. But I also do appreciate that there is a need to change like the way that the game is played a little bit, because we did have a lot of warning edge bullshittery over the last 15 years. And so it's like, hey, this might be might be the way to do it.
Yeah, it wound up being a sweep. One gentleman had a sweep. The other one had a push out. Mm-hmm. So then it was 2-2. And then there was a penalty awarded late in the match.
Because Ryder at the top was just on top. He was up on points, and he was on top position. He was just camping. And he was just sitting in half guard, so he gets a penalty. Yeah. And then there's the push-out sequence, which evens it up. Yeah. And then it goes to that penalty, essentially. Yeah. And because he was up 2-0, he was incentivized to be doing something. Exactly. He got a penalty for inactivity, and that was the match. So, interesting kind of flair to it, but it was a little bit of an odd result because, like, Ryder is the one that scored and got a push out. But also, you got to have these kind of matches so that it changes behavior of how guys play the game if you're going to play for that margin. So, I'm not mad at it, but it's just, like, unfortunate to have matches end on almost, like, technical rule decisions like that. Not really technical, it's just in the rules, but nothing. It got pushed out, and then you get points for that. Yeah. Now. Next one, let's talk about unforced errors. Nolan Stewart versus Vinicius Liberi. Nolan Stewart wins this 6-4 and does everything he can to lose it, man. The 4 points that Vinicius scores on Nolan are because Vinicius grabs a single leg. Yep. Through one sequence was just a standing sequence. It was Nolan goes to pole guard right at the beginning, and then Vinicius double pulls and then immediately drives forward into him to try to kind of counter him up with a wrestle up. And Nolan stands up. Vinicius has the single leg, and then Nolan goes, I'll pull guard.
Which is funny because if both gentlemen are on their knees, or not on their knees, if both gentlemen pull and then one wrestles up, if they don't get to their feet and make it neutral, and however they land, there's no points. Yeah.
So well, I think this was Nolan pulled, and I think Vinicius shot and looked. I think there was it made sense tactically that Nolan would stand here. Yeah. The second one doesn't, but the first one, it made sense. But what didn't make sense to me is Nolan just decides to sit when he's in Vinicius' single leg, which is 2 points, which is always going to be 2 points, no matter kind of what really happens.
Yeah, I think the first one, Nolan's standing, and Vinicus?
Is it Vinicus, not Vinicius? It is. I think it is Vinicus.
Vinicus.
Vinicius. Yeah,
like gets the single leg, and then he just goes, oh, I will pull guard now.
And he doesn't try to sumigation and doesn't try to throw over the top. He just pulls and gives the two away. We talked about this with Felipe Trovo at South American trials, like taking the negative for sitting in ADCC. Taylor Perriman in European trials for ADCC of like taking the negative in the finals for sitting.
Some people don't care. Some people think their jiu-jitsu is good enough. They can eat a penalty and be fine.
Nolan is. He wins this match.
But doesn't always work like that.
Yeah, for both Trovo and Perriman, like that negative one was the deciding factor for them losing those matches. There's another sequence later where Nolan Stewart's, again, he's active from the guard. Nolan Stewart, go back and watch his match with Adam Wojcinski in the Crown. Just an amazing omoplata sequence.
You can watch any of his matches with his omoplata sequences. They're amazing.
Just beautiful player. Like Clark Gracie-esque, but modern.
Yeah.
Like really phenomenal player. Vinicius is trying to pass, doing good work passing, has good pants grips, and then comes out and Nolan has to knees down turtle to stop the pass, and then in order to stop what's his name again? Vinicus from covering, getting 2 points to cover, he stands. And he stands again into the single leg, and then he stands up long enough. He just like stops what he's doing. He stands up for 3 or 4 seconds.
He looks over at his coach, I think.
Or at the point, he looks over at something. And then he waits.
And then he pulls.
And then he pulls again.
Yeah.
And then it was such a weird sequence because again he gives 2 more points away. So there's sequences that he wins and he gets the back and that's how he scores points. It was so weird to watch this sequence at this level. This is a Pan Championship. This is one of the highest level matches that exists in this sport. This is the second most prestigious tournament that exists in our sport in the gi. In IBJJF, maybe in AJP, World Pro is a little more prestigious. Maybe the third most prestigious event in the sport. It is so wild to watch Nolan Stewart stand up while being in a single leg to make it neutral to then sit back down when he could have partially stood here, come back, and gotten back to a guard within the 3-second window and never come to standing and not given away the 2 points. True. It's wild to watch him play this sequence like this and then essentially bring what could be a 2-6 match to a 2-4 match. And later he's really barely holding on to an inverted guard hook that's stopping Vinicus from passing. And Vinicus passes, he'll be up 1 point and win. Yeah. He just plays it to the smallest margins. There's a great sequence here that Nolan Stewart hits in order to get 6 points. Yeah. He gets the back there and he gets a takedown. Like it's a great sequence, and by all means, Nolan Stewart wins this. It's just really weird to see him give away the 2 points twice with no attempt to like counter or not play out of the sequence to the degree at the level that he is competing at black belt, men's black belt. So it was weird, and I wanted to call it out because it is just a very interesting. It's weird to see like strategic errors of this level at this level of competition. Yeah. And I just want to call it out when I see it because it's they're uncommon.
And then we move on because we're taking a long time going through these
Sif
matches.
Eddie Home versus Anderson Kwan. Sif Eddie is the big dude. He's big. He stands up. Eventually, he gets Anderson Kowun down, and he opens up the lapel. Yeah. He opens up that there's a name for this choke, and I always forget what the name is.
What is it?
It's when you pull up the lapel, you come around the neck, and then you go to north-south.
It's just like a north-south choke, but I don't.
It's a gi north-south choke, and I had a name for it. I knew it was like a saucier choke because my buddy Matt Saucier taught it to me when I was a white belt. And there's like a name for it, and I always forget what the name is. This is what Sif hits. Yeah. He just lays down, and Sif's got to be close to 400 pounds. Yeah. Sif's a big dude, and he's in the division. And he gets an north-south choke, and he finishes it, and it's his first Pan title, first Pan title.
First Pan title.
Also was a world champion because both the guys in his division last year when he got third popped.
Yeah.
And we thought that was very funny. So, again, we've seen Sif for years. Go back and watch Sif's match versus Mikey Musumeci because we're talking about him. It is the classic Euros match.
And everybody's seen the picture.
Yes.
The picture, it's the really big guy versus Mikey
Musumeci. Yeah. So that was that. Again, it's cool to see Sif get a win and a finish in the finals here. Next, we have the men's absolute class. We have Gabriel Veloso versus Gabriel Carbolja. And this is a win for Gabriel Velosa, 2 points. Yeah. This is a very fun back and forth match. Yeah. It was very, very close.
This is the worm guard.
Oh yeah, De La Worm.
De La Worm.
Yeah.
Dude pulls Della Worm at one point because this is
it's a teammate fight.
It is a teammate fight, but it's a absolute match, and both gentlemen are like not ultras.
Yeah.
They're like...
You actually get some speed in this absolute match, and you have... Again, both guys are named Gabriel, so now I'm actually blanking on who is in the white and who is in the blue. The gentleman in the blue gi in this match plays a really, really nice, like, partially inverted guard underneath and is doing some really nice lapel work underneath and getting the top player
I think it's
off balance.
Saboha is the one on bottom.
I think that's correct. I think Gabriel Veloso is the guy in white, and he wins.
Well, no, because I thought the guy on bottom swept with the Della Worm.
I think he doesn't get he didn't finish it because he goes to a split squat there, but doesn't finish it. We were really impressed that he was able to stay up. It was a fun back and forth match.
Yeah. Oh yeah, then there's a takedown and then okay, got it.
Yeah. Again, it was a fun men's absolute match. I loved that we actually had a non-closeout in absolute because plenty of these tournaments we get two of the bigger guys in the bigger divisions that close out, and we don't get absolute finals.
And we normally get the same people in absolute finals.
So it's very nice to have some new folks that we
less
familiar with.
Where's the other munis?
I don't know. I know Anderson was in here. So we saw Eric in his finals match, but didn't see. Did we skip that match?
Nope, we already went through.
Oh, it was Anderson Diaz. So that is the men's matches. Let's move on to the women's matches. Want to start the little smallest woman?
Yep.
All right, let's move on to the women's adult black belt divisions. We had Anna Lima versus Mariana Roslit.
Yep.
You have more notes here.
Yeah. Anna Lima, she likes the triangle armbar. You can see immediately in this match, she pulls almost fully into a triangle armbar. And then Mariana has to try to get out of it, and that's like the whole match.
Well, Mariana was like in a double underpass, and she eats the no-arm triangle like twice in the match where she's trying to pass.
And I mean, she's being super diligent. She's really good at like not putting herself into bad positions or getting swept. But at the same time, like Anna's just like...
That is what she wants the entire match. And I did like that Mariana at one point does the classic defensive, like she throws her leg over the guard and is like standing on top of the triangle to block Anna Lima from getting it. It was, again, not a lot happens. It's a one advantage match win for Anna Lima. Yeah. But it was still like very interesting. And I liked that we had a women's Roosterweight match that had like passing attempts from Mariana top, like a solid double underpass attempt a couple of times. Yeah. And actual like countering from Anna Lima. It was nice to not just have this be the double pull and the who's going to come up top. We had a top player and a bottom player, and I liked to see that in a women's Roosterweight match because that is not always the case. Yeah. Next.
She was also Mariana was trying to pass, and as she was passing, like Anna would just like keep a butterfly hook in, and she'd go from like fully inverted butterfly hook all the way around full guard and like pull her into her full guard, which is something that I don't watch a lot of gi jiu-jitsu these days, so it's something that you can do in gi jiu-jitsu that like in no gi it's a little harder.
That's one of the reasons I like the gis. You can just do different stuff that's not necessarily available.
You can do some speedy shit.
Yeah, which is cool. Next one, we had Maisa Bastos versus Ashley Funguera. It's a closeout. I don't like closeouts. They shouldn't be happening. AOJ closeout. Bastos takes it by closeout.
She's like a 9-time champion?
Yeah, it's
or
a closeout.
Like 12-time champion?
Does it really count as a closeout? You didn't fight for it. So, moving on. Let's say now we have...
Margo Ciccarelli versus...
This is really funny. This is really funny because how I pulled it.
Yeah.
It's really funny. All right.
No, go back. That we didn't talk about it. Margo Ciccarelli.
One. Sorry. Yeah, I skipped the one. Oh. Next one, you have Margo Ciccarelli versus Larissa Campos. This is a rematch, I think.
Yeah, it's a rematch of 2023 Pans, where Margo wins 12-10.
So a high score. It was a fun match. That was a fun match from a couple of years ago.
Yeah. It's a referee decision after 2-2 sweep.
Yeah,
Ciccarelli is like grabbing on the feet a little bit more, doing more attacks.
Ciccarelli just looked like to be the aggressor in most of these sequences, and it seemed like that Ciccarelli would be the one working from the bottom longer, and she was the one that was dictating where the sweep was going to go, and then she would be the first to sweep, and then Larissa would counter sweep back, and then you'd see Margo immediately like working, and then eventually getting the sweep going.
And you also saw Cicerelli trying to take the back, trying to like bolo once she like swept, got to the top, trying to do like a leg wedge bolo. Can't really do that, so she goes to attack. Then she gets swept because when she goes to attack, she doesn't have anything to base out with, Yeah. So she was like in the driver's seat.
This was a very, very good match. Yeah. I actually probably going to watch this match again because I want to learn more about Cicerelli's game as we're going to see her in ADCC. Yeah. And so like I was just very impressed with the composure and just how aggressively she was kind of coming for Larissa Campos. Yeah. Campos was weathering the storm and again was able to resweep twice. Yeah. But this was for me like very clearly Cicerelli in the driver's seat of this match and like pushing the action and forcing Larissa for the majority of this match on the defense, and she was able to defend very, very well. But this was a very fun match. And I think it should have gone to Margot, and it did. Next one, we had Sarah Gaval versus Jana Libre.
And this is a rematch from the Crown Finals in 2025. Yeah. This is the one where Sarah Gaval gets the advantage in the very beginning, where Janaia. Is it Shania? Janaina pulls guard and she like jumps over the leg.
Yes, I remember that one. Yep.
Yeah. So it's a rematch of that match. It's once again 0-0, just kind of like that match, but there's no advantages in this one.
Yeah. Not a bad match. It's just it's a 0-0 ref decision match.
Yes.
Anything else?
Nope.
All right, moving on. We have Lillian Machard versus Elizabeth Clay.
Yeah.
We had to rewatch this sequence again because we were talking in the pre-show. Apparently, I missed it in earlier matches, but Elizabeth Clay in an earlier match in her division, was it versus?
No, it was in Absolute against Gabby Pisana.
Okay.
She got knee barred by Gabby Pisana.
Yeah, which is very funny because last time she met Gabby Pisana, she toe-holded her.
It makes me wonder if Clay's knee was already compromised coming in.
Yeah, Clay doesn't get knee barred a whole lot, so it was interesting. So Clay was apparently limping around prior to this match. She was winning her division, winning like even through her division. Yeah. And I think Kendo on commentary brought it up. I don't know how much this played into the loss for Clay here. Yeah. But I want to bring it up because it's just Clay is on the bottom, which she is pretty frequently. Yeah. And she's looking for the leg locks, which she is pretty frequently. She's a world title with that.
Yeah.
And Lillian is just doing a very good job putting really, really heavy pressure on top, looking to pass, looking to come around. And Elizabeth Clay is folded in half, as she is a lot. Yeah. And usually when Elizabeth Clay is folded in half, she is very strong in the legs. Yeah. And she is eventually able to get underneath, make an angle, push you off, and either get to the leg or get back to the guard or get back to a style.
She can kind of get her hips and her knees and her legs back in. But
this is how she plays.
Yeah, but she does do some weird knee stuff. Yeah. So if you have a knee that's slightly compromised.
Or very compromised because you're limping around a venue.
I could see you not being able to kind of do the same.
So I don't know if that is what played the factor here, but Lillian gets very, very close, gets around the guard, and then immediately when Clay goes to turtle, because you turtle to stop the pass because you can get an advantage as opposed to 2 points or 3 points for the guard pass on you, Lillian jumps the armbar over the top, gets it.
Well, she does the deadlift. She deadlifts
and over.
She as she goes to invert, she grabs her hips and she does what I call the deadlift back take, which is they just like pull you off the ground and you're like, and you come off the ground.
And then your arms flare and so they can scoop the arm. Yeah. She gets that. And then she does something I really like here on the finish, Lillian. She has Elizabeth Clay's arm. Clay is locked in. She immediately pops off the first grip that forces Clay to hand in hand. And you see Lillian, like, she has her feet crossed. But she has her feet crossed exactly where you should have your feet crossed. She is behind the other shoulder of Elizabeth Clay. If you are trapped over the shoulder, then Clay can, in one motion, shuck off both legs and escape. If you are trapped under their far side shoulder, this is always how I teach it. I love to see it. Essentially, Elizabeth Clay can't get her shoulder out of that position because your foot is under her armpit. Yeah. And you're like, she can't bring that grip down. She can't fight that grip up or behind or low because your feet and legs are trapping the arm there. And essentially, she can only fight around and down. Yeah. And as a result, Lillian can just extend the arms and eventually essentially get the straight arm lock or the regular arm lock even with the hands together still. And so it's mechanically just such a strong position to be in. Lillian gets it. She gets the arm extended. Clay taps pretty quickly. And that's it. But it was just a very, very impressive sequence from Lillian Machard here. From the pass to the grab to the armbar. Like
Marchand.
What'd I say?
Machard.
What? Give me one.
Marchand.
That's right here, Miranda. I missed you.
Yeah.
Because you were one of the only people on the show that's going to consistently correct me with names.
And my corrections might not even be correct, but
it's got to be better than what I had.
Yeah.
So a great win for Lillian. Again, I hope Clay's leg heals up because I want to see her back in absolute or in the divisions. Next one, we have Elizabeth Mitrovic versus Micah Vicente.
Maca.
They called her Maca. I knew
Maria.
I knew it.
It's Maria, but Maca means apple in Portuguese.
Maca. I love watching Elizabeth Mitrovic. We've been watching her since Purple Belt.
She looks so angry.
I love it.
Like, she
every
looks
time
so
they show
angry.
She's a very tall woman. She always has the headphones in, and she always looks like she's about ready to fight for her life.
Yeah.
And I love it. There's one of my favorite videos ever in women's jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Is she did a trials a couple years ago, and she's on the mat. And she's waiting for the match to start. And she's just kind of going back and forth. And she is death staring. I forget who she's facing.
She was going against, what's her name?
Wasn't Levy.
Yeah, no.
It was Amanda?
It was finals. It was
finals of trials,
Yeah.
West Coast trials. And she's death staring. And this is always how she looks.
Yeah.
She's death staring. And they're just both they are both just hard staring at each other, like ready to fight for it. And they make them sit there for 3 minutes.
Yeah.
It's because there's a problem with the table. And so they're just sitting there the entire time, never breaking eye contact, and they're just staring at each other.
Yeah.
It is one of the most gangster moments I have ever seen in jiu-jitsu of Elizabeth Mitrovic staring her down. And you saw her in this match. Again, she always looks like that. And I love to see it. Do you have points on the match? I always remember Mitrovic's stare downs because they are just she's so intense in her stare downs.
Mitrovic,
she's super heavy inverted. She's she plays that guard where Liz is very comfortable getting fully stacked, but she is so tall that she can essentially put her feet behind her head, and unless you are strong enough to deadlift past her, and again you're in the heavier women's weight classes, so it's hard because Elizabeth
she's also
is bigger.
She's a lot taller and longer than a lot of people in that division.
And you have to really lift tall over her shoulders, and so she can play this. It's not like an inverted guard. She plays from the deadlift pass.
Yeah.
And Maca can't. She almost gets her up once, but can't. And then Elizabeth can get her feet back in front of her. Yeah. It was just a really funny sequence to watch for the first probably 2 minutes of the match, 3 minutes of the match of just Elizabeth just inverted over essentially in this flipped guard with her feet above her head, and Maca trying to lift past her and just can't do it because of the attributes. Yeah. It was just a really neat little sequence to see there.
Sweeps, and more sweeps.
Yep, essentially. And that's a back and forth match, and Elizabeth is able to take it on that. Anything else?
Nope.
All right, next one, we have Larissa Diaz versus Mariela Maljasic. Diaz takes this 3-0 on points. This is the second time or third time?
It's third time they went against each other. First time Maria won by, in my notes, this is armbar. It means knee bar. I'm pretty sure it's a knee bar.
It is a knee bar.
I think I typed the wrong thing. Then last year's Pans Finals, Larissa won.
Probably Renegade choke.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then Larissa's brother is in the medium heavy finals.
Oh, Diaz. Oh, that's Diaz.
Yeah, okay. The other Diaz, which is funny that you have two kids.
Dude, there's a lot of siblings.
Yeah.
In this sport. It is very fun. I think a lot of sports have that. Even motorsports has that. But it is always funny when the top is dominated by the Rotolo brothers. The Musumeci twins. Yeah. Or not twins, the Musumeci siblings.
Yeah.
It is just always very interesting how many the Funguera sisters pick and choose over the years all of the people that have had successful brothers, younger brothers.
But this is a pass that Larissa's in quite a while. And Maria's doing a really good job holding on to her, not letting her pass. And then she just kind of does the whole I make your body go two different directions, and then I just kind of cut through it really hard. Mm-hmm. And then as Maria tries to turtle, she immediately counters off the turtle and takes her back.
Yeah.
And she gets a rear naked choke in, which I thought Maria was going to tap to, and Maria did not. And didn't seem to be bothered by it either. Mm-hmm. So, but Maria also...
Sorry, their second match was a points win, not a rear naked choke win. I flipped the notes in accidentally here, and that's the second match that Larissa took was points.
Yeah. And then Larissa, at one point when she's on her back, like actually uses her feet to pull them back into the match.
I love
rather than going out of bounds. She's like, nope, we're staying in bounds for this one.
There's a really famous case of that, and I forget.
It was lasso guard. That was what she was playing. Because Maria kept on being able to keep like a foot inside, so when she went to pass, she couldn't get past the foot.
Yeah,
and she was
It was a well played match. Again, I like when we see the same competitors go against each other for like kind of years or across the years because you can see the development of like, okay, I've faced you before, I've beat you before.
Yeah.
How am I going to either come with the same game plan or I'm going to change the game plan to deal with what worked or what did not work last time? It's always like a really interesting arms race to watch as a fan. Anything else on that one?
Nope.
Next one, let's talk about Gabby Pisana versus Raylene Alencar. Gabby's beat her before by ankle lock.
2025 crown.
Yeah, so pretty recently. This is a smother choke from Mount.
It's a mother's milk.
Yeah. Alencar looks good in a good section of this match, but eventually Pisana gets the top, as she does in most of her matches, and then just has underhooks onto both the arms and just pressures and levels down. One thing I didn't love here is you have Alencar on the bottom, and she kind of has a free hand before the tap, and then she kind of holds it out and then taps. And I never love to see that at high levels. I always want to see people like, hey, put a hand in, put something, like, be doing something before you tap. I saw it, and I always kind of want to. I always like to call it out when I see it because I always implore all of my guys or my women I coach, like, hey, if you're gonna tap, like tap. Yeah. If you're gonna have any opportunity to not tap, be doing something until the moment that you decide to tap. And we saw like a hover hand tap here where Alencar's like, and it's a smother choke. It's what you would expect. You're like, am I gonna tap to this? No, I'm gonna get my nose broken. I'm gonna have to tap. Like, smother choke is a weird one to see. Because again, there's a clear size difference here in this division, even though that it's the biggest women's division. It's just a weird one to see at a top level. But Gabby Pisana gets it done. Let's move on. Anything else on this?
Nope.
Let's move on. Sarah Gaval versus Gabby Pisana. This was the rematch that we saw at, was it Worlds?
Europeans.
It was Europeans. Where Sarah Gaval kind of arguably, you can make an argument, would have won that match. She loses it.
Advantage.
Per that day. And then in this one, she's able to win. Gabby Pisana here. So how do you...
Gabby Pisana decides to play top.
There's a big wrestling sequence here.
There's a wrestling sequence in which Gabby kicks Sarah.
She kicks her like a bunch of times. I thought it was really weird.
I mean, some would say it's a foot sweep. Some would say it was a kick.
From the jump.
You could hear them.
The first thing that she does.
You could hear it.
The first thing that Pisana does is she kicks Sarah Gaval right like in the knee. And
below the knee, but below the knee because Sarah picks up her leg.
Yeah. I have talked about this for years. We got to crack down harder on that because Pisana is not going to sweep with that. It's a foot kick, and this is how stuff gets out of hand, and this is how you bring striking into a grappling sport.
Yeah.
I think if you kick your opponent, it should be DQ. They didn't do anything about it, but again, it's a high level. I wouldn't want to see a DQ here.
Yeah.
But I don't like seeing this stuff at the highest levels because it's like there is a way to sweep a front side foot.
Yeah.
And Pisana is not doing it. She's just kicking Sarah Gaval in the leg.
Yeah.
So it frustrates me.
Yes.
Moving on. There's a lot of wrestling.
There's a lot of wrestling.
There's a poll.
Yeah. We wonder if Gaval is trying to make sure that she doesn't get collar dragged to her face. Because Pisana likes doing that. Gaval pulls. And then Pisana isn't really able to pass her guard. She gets close, but she isn't really able to do that. And then at one point, she gets close enough that Sarah jumps back to her feet, and they start on their feet again. And then there is a out of bounds sort of exchange in the last 45 seconds, of the match. It's the very end, where Sarah, I guess at that point is like, okay, fuck this.
Sarah's down 2 points.
Yeah.
Because how did she lose the 2 points here? I'm blanking on how she was down.
No, it's 0.
Oh, it's 0.
It's
yeah.
6-0.
Sorry.
There's no points.
It's an advantage.
There's no
she's
points.
Down an advantage.
She's down an advantage. Mm-hmm. So then what happens is
she shoots like a low single.
She shoots a low single. Gabby kind of turns. She grabs her leg. She pulls her back inbounds.
Yeah, because Gabby Pisano is very clearly trying to flee out.
Yeah.
Which I thought was very funny considering how much fleeing we've seen get like penalized.
Yeah.
And Sarah Gavao doesn't let her flee, pulls her back in.
Yeah.
And then
jumps her back.
Which I thought was like a really gangster way to do that. And then Pisano does a forward roll. And we watched this a bunch of times on the pre-show. And we went, that's fleeing the mat. And they bring her back in bounds. They haven't given her the points for the back take yet. Or for the takedown yet.
Yeah.
And they give Pisano... Oh, sorry.
No, they give Galvao 2 points for Pisano fleeing the mat.
Did they give her 2 points for the takedown or fleeing the mat?
Fleeing the mat.
Okay. So they give her fleeing the mat, and then Galvao starts with the hooks in, gets her 6 points.
Yeah,
and
but
that
not
is
like...
the mat.
No, she starts with her hooks in.
Yeah, she starts with her hooks in. Because that's where she was when they left the mat.
And they didn't give her like 3 seconds to establish that.
No.
So she establishes that, gets 4.
Yeah. And that's the division. That's
and then she Gabby gets her off her back, and then Galvao holds her guard for the last few minutes, and that's it.
Not the last few minutes, like last 10 seconds.
10 seconds, yeah.
So that was a match. Again, it was nice to see the reversal here of worlds. It's unfortunate that Sarah is repping Atos with everything going on there. It was unfortunate to have Andre there, but it is what it is. That's all I'm going to talk about that. If you want more information,
he had a bunch of females in finals. Mm-hmm. He had like 3.
Yep, he did.
Okay, so we go to the matches that are coming up soon enough.
Let's run it. What do you want to start?
Who's number 132? This has either already happened, depending on what you listen to, and when you listen to us, or it hasn't.
We have a Tuesday show once every 2 years.
Who schedules something on Tuesday?
Thursdays are fine. Honestly, I'm not mad at Tuesday. Tuesday's actually a fine day to have it. I'm just not used to it.
I wonder if because of Pans. Maybe. If there's some of the people are from Pans, and that's why.
They're in town already, but it's in Florida, which is weird.
Well, that's Pans is in Florida.
No, I'm saying the Pans is in Florida. This is
in Texas.
Yeah, which is not.
It's driving distance.
No, it's not.
Well, it's flying distance.
Yeah.
Okay, no, it's not.
I love how we tried to get there.
I was trying to get there, and it didn't work.
We have who's number 1, 155-pound GP. 4 homies in this one. We got DeAndre Corbray out of Standard Jiu-Jitsu. Now is opening his own gym with his brother.
Max Hansen.
Oh, he's also currently the trials champion. Is he trials champion?
I don't know, but we need
Max Hansen. We have Julian Espinoza, and we have Dorian Oliveras. My money is on Dorian Oliveras to take this after how good he looked at trials. I do not know who can stop him.
I agree.
I don't know. I think he keeps enough of a pace. He does enough. He keeps an active activity. You've got to put him away, and he's shown that he is pretty hard to put away.
And I think you have to break him. Physically break him.
Yep. Again, all these guys are phenomenal. I'm really excited to see the bracketing for this one.
Yeah.
You should watch this if you haven't watched it, because this is truly a really, really good collection of guys to have for a no-gi GP.
Yep.
We also have a 145-pound youth bracket. We have Jay Ortiz, JP Tran, Chingy Swains, and Matthew Vila. We also have a couple of super fights on the card as well. We have Jacob Bonerman. We have versus Nick Mayata, which is a really fun matchup. I'm very, very excited to see little Jacob back. We haven't seen him since trials.
Okay.
And then Nick Mayata, again, out of Simple Man, just always in the mix, but never quite at the pinnacle. It'll be really nice to see him versus Jacob here. I'm really, really excited because both these guys are very quickly rising stars. This is a match that we're going to see at some point 10 years from now. I'm really excited to see the first matchup right now, at least unless they've already faced each other and I've missed that matchup. So excited to see him on a bigger stage.
We have Lillian Marchand, who won her division at Pans versus Janie Fragoso.
And then we have some other youth matches and middleweight matches.
But we also have Mona Bailey versus Thanara Victoria.
It'll be good to see Mona Bailey back on. Overall, it is kind of an odd card it's the GP is the focus of the card, which I like. A youth bracket on the card is interesting as well. It's kind of like what the Crown does. Sometimes they have a bunch of youth matches, which is odd. It's also odd that it's on a Tuesday, but
go down a little bit more. Oh, it doesn't say where it is. I'm just curious. I think it's in Texas.
I would be surprised if it's not in Texas.
All their stuff is in Texas.
Again, should be good. I'm excited to talk about it next week because again, the 4 guys at the top of the card are people we always cover for every match. So it'll be very, very interesting to see how they bracket it. Also happening this week, we have CFFC BJJ 17
on Friday.
The feeder to the UFC BJJ, main evented by Shoya Marco versus Oliver Taza at middleweight.
Yeah.
I do think it's really funny that Oliver Taza is still listed out of San Juan, Puerto Rico.
Oh,
because that's what
with the Canadian flag.
Because he's Canadian, and they updated.
Well, he's Canadian and Lebanese, right?
Yes, because he competes in the European trials as Lebanese.
Look at the picture of Keith Krikorian.
Yep, it's a wrestling picture from back in the day.
Yeah.
And then that's for the middleweight championship. Of Fury. So again, I think easy money here is on Oliver Taza, but Marco is improving rapidly and very exciting.
Yeah.
So. It'll be exciting to see Taza back on the main stage here, taking out Marco, who is entertaining, but it is a tough matchup for Marco.
It is.
Next, we have Keith Krikorian versus Matt Marsh out of Black Hole. Keith Krikorian's out of 10th Planet. This is for the vacant lightweight title.
And Keith has already beat Matt at finishers.
You were at that card.
Yep. Last year.
Not quite last year, like 2 years ago.
It was 2 years ago?
24. It was the Zach Edwards Memorial
2
card.
2 years ago.
Yep.
I was there.
Mm-hmm.
But Matt has also won. He won
EBI.
No.
Combat Jiu-Jitsu.
Combat Jiu-Jitsu. I was like slap. Anyway, so yeah.
So it's a rematch. So again, I think we talked to Keith after this, or he made a post after this. It's like, I'm tired of fighting these kids because Matt Marsh pushes a very good pace.
And there was I want to say that weekend he had a match before that. Like
he had a match the day before that, and then he drove over to this match and had
or like
this
2
match.
days before it or something like that.
This is when Krikorian had a crazy schedule. So I think the history is very funny here. I think it was a pretty close match the first time.
Yeah.
So I'm amped to see it on the big stage at Fury again at 155. Should be a lot of fun. Also some standard guys locally for Fury, which is awesome to see, or CFFC at this point. It should be fun. We have some fun stuff to cover and recap next week. Miranda, any closing thoughts on anything we went through or any of these batches? Anything else you want to talk about?
Nope.
Sweet. That does it. Miranda, anything else you got fun going on this weekend or this week?
I don't know because I just got back from Texas working and I'm way behind on everything. Everything in my life, like laundry.
I got back Friday night.
Food, everything.
From Virginia all week. And it's the same, but we're both coming off a week of work travel.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm back in the office today. I was like, I am ready to not be on travel.
Yeah, it's a little crazy.
So back to the normal schedule. Who's number 1? 32 next week.
Yeah.
And that's all I got.
Yep, that's it.
As always on the show, I'm your host, Maine, joined with my co-host,
Miranda.
And we are the Grappling Rewind. To see on that where it is. Stay safe. If you like the show, please consider sharing it on Facebook with the folks at your gym. It's the best way that we grow the show, and we really appreciate it. You can reach out to us on email.
We also have Instagram. We have Facebook. We have Twitter. We have Google+.
Until that shuts down.
We have a website.
If you have an event you would like to have us cover, please let us know. If you have a name, like most people do, and you'd like to have us stop butchering it,
let us know.
Reach out to us. The show is also available on YouTube, Spotify, in addition to iTunes and every other podcast service. We very much appreciate your time, and thank you.